Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Okay. I have my fan on because it's hot in here. Let me get this thing situated. Turn it down just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to try to explain this in the best way I know how and remove my personal bias. I understand why this happened the way that it did. The only way that I can rationalize it is that Jade Cargill is going to take that title off of Tiffany Stratton sometime between now and obviously after Night of Champions, if it doesn't happen at Night of Champions. Jade Cargill and Charlotte will probably be a big marquee match for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. It's 2 nights. They got to start moving. Rhea Ripley is injured. They have no real timeline about Rhea, where she is, if she's going to be able to come back, if she's coming back, nothing. They have not said a word. They haven't even given us an idea of the extent of her injury. So we don't know. But it seems they have given Liv Morgan a full, complete, free ride right through to the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. All because they were too lazy to book Liv Morgan so she had a true rivalry heading into SummerSlam. Your laziness and your intent on protecting Liv Morgan is what's causing what we're seeing right now. Y'all are scrambling. You wouldn't have to scramble if you did this correctly. But you didn't. So now we are stuck. And I would have been okay if this was like Raquel. You feel what I'm saying? I would have been fine if this was Roxanne. The problem I'm having with all of this is not only is Liv Morgan champion, but if she wins, she'll be the only champion to ever become Queen of the Ring and be champion at the same time. And she will be able to challenge for the other title whoever may have it and who doesn't is irrelevant. So not only are we going to be doubling back to Liv Morgan facing off against Rhea Ripley if she's cleared to compete, it's a never-ending cycle of bullshit, and I just don't understand why you can't keep this shit separate. I don't understand why you keep going back to the same shit over and over and over again. You had an opportunity to give Liv Morgan a true win over Charlotte, but instead you chose to use Jade Cargill and her crew to weaken Charlotte, which gave her the free pass. Same thing happened in her first Fatal 4-Way match. She's in the match, barely in the match. Out of nowhere, she takes the win. At some point, while it's kayfabe, it's storyline, we understand that. I don't need super realism in my wrestling. I never have. But where is the storyline? Because all I see is you padding Liv Morgan's resume here. And the thing that's really pissing me off is you had a good opportunity to not only boost the Queen of the Ring tournament by actually giving the true queen the title or the crown, you had an opportunity to also push Liv Morgan and Judgment Day into a marquee matchup between them. And you chose to go the other route. She's... No. I'm just going to say right now, she's advancing. She's going up against EO, so we have to watch EO versus Liv again in Riyadh for the Queen of the Ring tournament. And God can only hope that Rhea, or rather Liv, loses and EO wins. So I don't know. I can't help you here. This match here, King of the Ring tournament, JeVon Evans and Jey Uso had a little tryst at the beginning of the show, but they had an excellent match with each other. JeVon Evans also weakened in his match, suffered a massive spear from Braun Breaker on Monday Night Raw, and was still suffering from the effects of it, but was able to go and still push through in this match. But it went the way I thought. One spear from Jey Uso and a frog splash from the top of the turnbuckle took him out. He fought as hard as he could, did everything he could, but he could not best that 100% Jey Uso, and he was at 75%. Both of these semi-final tournament matches had asterisks next to them. Both of them, the opponents were injured going into the matches. Maybe it was a level of protection for them, maybe. But it just sucked to watch, if I'm being 1,000% honest. It really did. We're moving on. First, they didn't really give us an hour. They gave us more like 45 minutes. And even, actually, they gave us 30 minutes. Then they cut to commercial. Which is so wild for you to promise a full hour commercial free when you only gave us 30 minutes. You gave us 30 minutes commercial free, babe. Then you cut to, a Papa John's commercial, I believe it was. And then you moved into restarting the match between Gunther and Cody. This led to Sami getting involved again because Gunther attacked Sami prior to the match restarting. And then Cody was able to pick up the win again over Gunther. So Gunther now has suffered 2 losses to Cody Rhodes. I knew where this was going. It didn't have to be this convoluted, in my opinion. But they did. They went this route, and that's fine. But I knew where it was going. It ultimately ended up where Cody Rhodes told Nick, listen, I'm sick of both of these dudes involving themselves in my business. I'm tired of Gunther and his bullshits and politics. And I'm sick of Sami coming in and taking over and doing shit he ain't got no business that doesn't have anything to do with him. So you know what? Give me both of them. I'll take both of them out. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell y'all how I think they can improve this and make this work when we start talking about Night of Champions in a minute. But it was an interesting thing that happened today. The tag team champions were defending their titles against the MFTs. The MFTs saw that Jacob was there and that Jacob was giving Solo one last warning that he needed to come home or there would be consequences. Jacob told him to make the right decision because he knew what the right decision was. Solo acted like he didn't understand what the fuck he was talking about. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Where are we going with this? Jacob was like, you know exactly what I'm saying. And he left. And that was the last we saw of Jacob. But the MFTs made it very clear to Solo that he got some personal business that he needs to handle. And they don't want his personal business spilling over into their tag team business. So they told him to keep his funky ass in the bike. And he couldn't do that. The match seemed to be going in the MFT's way. They looked like they were going to become a 2-time tag team champions. But of course, Solo came out there and provided enough of a distraction that cost them the championships. Now, Tama Tonga and Tala both walked out on Solo. And because of that, Solo went to find Jacob. And he told Jacob, if he keeps sending you in my business, then I'm going to have to go pay a visit to the tribal chief on his show and make his business my business. So I don't know what the fuck going on, but it looked like the MFTs are soon to be dissolved. And Solo may be rejoining the ranks of the bloodline. And quite frankly, he should. Because that is the only way that you are going to push out the twins. I'm just going to say that, and I'm going to move on. Now, the only other match that happened on the card that I can remember was this match. It actually was really, really good. Carmelo Hayes faced off against Ricky Sainz. Now, for whatever reason, I didn't see that the turnbuckle was ripped off of the corner, the top turnbuckle. I didn't see how it got ripped off, but from what my husband said, it was Carmelo that accidentally ripped off the turnbuckle. And he was the one who suffered the worst because of it. Not only did he hurt his man bits, but he also ended up getting hit in the back of the head on the turnbuckle. This cost him the whole match. Okay? Ricky was able to pick up the win, and he is the one going to Night of Champions and will face off against Trick Williams. Now, we saw 2 vignettes backstage. One from Fatal Influence. I don't know what happened with Lainey Reed and her face powder, but they decided to give that bitch the cocaine special, okay? She looked like she was out here in that book of sugar real tough. It was all under her eyes. It was all on her nose. It was everywhere. I don't know what the makeup team was doing back there, but bitch, they make better powder for the girls than that. Now, you didn't have to use that white powder on that girl's face like that. You didn't have to do her like that. That girl looked like she was digging in some coke, okay? White powder was everywhere. Now, it's either some type of photo finish, something that you would use for highlighting and editorials, but you got to dust that shit off because it just looks like she's got this massive slap of powder on her face. You ever seen the girl from White Chicks and the girl asked for powder? And Marlon's character just slaps her with a big powder puff.
Clean it up, Coco.
That's what she looked like. It was pretty horrible. Okay, it was pretty terrible. But that Fatal Influence was mad at the referee for kicking out JC Jane. And now JC Jane has a match with Paige next Friday, right before Night of Champions. And she promises to make mincemeat of good old Paige. I'm sure it's a dream come true match for her to face off against Paige one-on-one. Now, on Monday, the tag team champions are going to be facing off against Bayley and Lyra. And if you ask me, I say drop the fucking titles to them, okay? But I know that they won't. They waiting on Nikki to bring her ass back so Nikki and Brie could be tag team champions together. Great. I love that for you. However, I'm just not paying attention to the tag team titles at this current moment. It's no shade to Paige. It's no shade to Brie. I just don't care. Doesn't mean anything by it. It's not that their matches have been terrible. They haven't. They're not terrible champions. They're fighting champions. And they be giving people the business. I have to give them that. I'm not going to take that away from them. I'm just not interested. And that's just the bottom line. So let's talk about Night of Champions. Let's get into it. So Night of Champions, a few things could happen at Night of Champions that I want you to keep in the back of your mind, okay? I told you guys that match between Cody Rhodes and Gunther was going to turn into a triple threat heading into Night of Champions. And I was right because they booked that match today. Cody Rhodes will face off against Gunther and Sami Zayn at Night of Champions. And what we saw from Jade Cargill and her group going after Charlotte could lead to a match at SummerSlam between Charlotte and Jade if Jade Cargill steals the title from Tiffany Stratton. Now, Tiffany Stratton was in the back, and Jade Cargill issued the challenge. She told her, since she likes to be in her business, why don't she go ahead and run that title? She's very proud of herself for injuring Rhea Ripley. She took the credit for that. And, of course, now she's going to take the credit for taking out Charlotte. And it's just going to be like, I'm handing out ass whoopings, and now it's Tiffany's turn. So we shall see. Michin and B-Fab have yet to challenge for those tag team titles. And if you ask me, if you're not going to drop those titles to Bayley and Lyra, then heading into SummerSlam, the title challenge needs to go to Michin and B-Fab. Let those two challenge for the titles at SummerSlam and give it to them. Let them have it. Then you'll have a champion like Jade Cargill, and you'll have B-Fab and Michin running roughshod. You can even have them challenge for the titles before SummerSlam and get those titles then, and then go into SummerSlam as champions, possibly leave not as champions. You know, giving them a month-long title reign doesn't seem to be a bad idea, but do you? Now, when it comes to Trick Williams and Ricky Saints, I don't think that Ricky is going to beat Trick. In fact, I think it's quite the opposite. I think Ricky is going and he's going to lose. And then they're going to start building up Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams for SummerSlam. Or they'll stick with Ricky Saints and Trick Williams for SummerSlam if it's worth the money to keep. Either way, Trick Williams is going to be on the bill for SummerSlam, so it is what it is. Now, that women's championship that Rhea Ripley has, if she cannot participate in SummerSlam, they're going to have her vacate the title. If they do this the way that I am assuming they will do this, if Rhea is not as badly injured as they say, and Liv Morgan is champion, right? She's going in. The only way they can save face with this is in two different ways. One, Roxanne costs Liv Morgan her shot at the championship at Night of Champions. It has to be Roxanne. She is the only one in the group who has shown any type of annoyance at not being able to win, and of course at Liv Morgan's blatant selfishness when it comes to going into Queen of the Ring. If it can't be Roxanne, then it has to be Stephanie Vaquer. If Stephanie is not cleared to compete or hasn't been cleared to compete in time, then she's got to be cleared to compete in time. It has to be Stephanie. They have not mentioned Stephanie in a while. 2 months. They have not mentioned her. They have not said anything about her. There's been no update on her injury. There's been nothing. Even Bronson Reed gave you a little tickle, a little tickle of where he was. You haven't seen anything from Stephanie. If they do this and they have this plan in the back pocket, there's only two people I want to see interfere. It must be Roxanne, and it has to be Stephanie McCare. It has to be. For all of this to make sense and for Liv to suffer a grand loss, to do all this work to get to the end, to be the first woman champion or the first champion ever to enter King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring and to win, she would be the first to set like a double history making. You know what I'm saying? Somebody has to take it from her. Somebody has to take it. You can give it to Raquel if you want, but I think it should be Roxanne. You got to start breaking down Judgment Day. They're not strong enough to maintain themselves as a group. They don't have the male manpower that they used to have, and they don't have enough camaraderie to move like they used to. Break it down, separate them, and use them differently. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Now, Night of Champions is June 28th. That is next week. Next week's weekend of wrestling is going to be batshit bonkers. You have NXT's Great American Bash on Sunday. Then you have the match between Lola and Kendall, the match between Tony D'Angelo and Naraku, the match between Tavion and Miles, and the match between Saquon Sugars and Dion Lennox. And I think that's it. I don't think there's any more matches. I could be missing a match, but I don't think there's any more matches. I could be. I know, sis, but you know what? I can't dwell on it. Like I told them earlier, because you came in a little later, the only way that I see this making sense is somebody got to cost Liv everything. It's either got to be Roxanne or Stephanie got to come back and be cleared and she got to do it. Somebody got to do it. But they didn't have to take Charlotte out like that. They didn't have to do her like that. That shit was nasty work. It pissed me off so bad. That made me so angry. But if wrestling ain't giving you no emotions, it ain't working. So I'll give them that. They did a good job spinning that shit, but they didn't have to make her be like a wounded animal going into this match. And even still, she was fighting like a champion the whole fucking time. And it took, what was it, like 2 Boston Crabs for her to tap out because she couldn't take the pain. Now listen, in Charlotte's case, Charlotte got to heal within 2 to 3 weeks, come back and beat the shit out of Jade Cargill. And I love Jade down. But girl, you got to get your comeuppance. You can't go around just taking people out just because you feel like it. Somebody got to whoop your big ass. Okay? Somebody got to put you down. Somebody got to. Somebody's got to. And I love you down. I do. But you and motherfucking homie the clown over there, and little Papito, y'all got to go. y'all got to go, goddammit. Y'all didn't have to do my girl Charlotte like that. Y'all did not have to do her like that. And the bitch did it with no shoes on. Just did it with her raw foot. You dirty. That's just dirty. That was just dirty shit. Anyways. Y'all, it's going to be a rough weekend because not only do you have Great American Bash, but you also have Forbidden Door. And you have Slammiversary. And then on Saturday, we have Night of Champions. So next weekend is going to be rough. It's going to be a lot, but I promise you, we going to get through it. Now, listen to me. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm not going to sit over here long and hold y'all. Because I'm really pissed about that match with Charlotte. I'm so angry. I'm so mad. But like I always tell y'all, if wrestling is not evoking any emotion in you, then it's not being done right. You know what I'm saying? And they did do a good job of just making us be angry. not only at Jade Cargill, but also at Liv Morgan. Everybody who did this did their jobs effectively. So I'll give them a kudos for that. But I need redemption. I need to see it. And I want it done my way. I won't accept nothing less. With that being said, do me a solid. Take y'all asses over there to Spotify and go listen to my latest podcast, because I'm going to tell you the synopsis of it. There's a young lady over on Reddit who was talking about having threesomes with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend introduced a new partner and had a twosome during their threesome. This whole thing spiraled out of control, and I need you to go over and listen to my last post about that story on Reddit. It's very interesting, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Okay? To be honest with you, I didn't pay attention to Danhausen because Stephen A. Smith was on my TV, so I just didn't care. Did he have a good moment with Kit and Truth? I mean, with Kit and Miz? Yeah, it's fine. I'm not. It didn't bother me. I just muted it because Stephen A. Smith was on my TV and I didn't care. As far as R-Truth is concerned, R-Truth is R-Truth. Love him down. It's Juneteenth, and we love that for them. Annie Hoosies. Yeah, okay. So, do me a solid. Go on over there to my YouTube. You can go over to my YouTube. It should be up on my YouTube now if you just like listening to it. The video on Spotify is just this picture, and you can just listen to it quietly, you know, but it's a good listen. Go on over there and check it out. It's all over there. Let me put the right banner up. Is the right banner up? It is. Cool. So, make sure you guys rate, comment, and subscribe. Go listen to the podcast. If you're done listening to that, you can go listen to the latest episode for Pop Culture Wednesday, which is about coming out, because this is going to be the second to last week to Pride Month. So, I did a whole series with my homies for Pride Month, and it was a very good time. So, go and check out the podcast. You guys will enjoy it. And if you missed out on Midwest Melanin Mafia over on Down for the Count, you missed out on a good time. Midwest Melanin Mafia finally got together, and we talked about all of the fun stuff. Okay, from the down to TNA's massive restructuring. If you want to hear all about that, head over to Down for the Count's YouTube and go check it out for yourselves. Okay, I appreciate you guys for coming over here. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm gonna get my black ass up out of here, and I will see y'all next week on Monday, when we're talking about Monday Night Raw and the final show before we head into Night of Champions. Okay, one last thing about Night of Champions. I do not believe that Obafemi is going to win the King of the Ring tournament. He has been calling out Brock Lesnar all month long. Ever since he lost at the last PLE, he has been calling out Brock Lesnar. Expect Brock Lesnar to show up and cost Obafemi this King of the Ring tournament. Mark my words. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see y'all on Monday.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.